Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let's chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्णा डियर डिवोटीज, वेलकम टू टुडेज श्रीमद् भागवतम फॉर ऑल सेशन. Let's recite Bhagavad Gita shloka. We are reciting from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, text 42. Does anyone need to go first? Okay, so we'll just go in order. Achintya Prabhu is not able to read first, so then we'll go to Isha. Can you read?
अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तु वार्जुन द्रष्टव्योऽहम् इदं कृत्स्नम्
ekamshena sthito jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Krishna says, how did you tell me to offer? What all had you told me to offer?
अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन विष्टभ्यहम् इदं कृत्स्नम् एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Madhava.
अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन विष्टभ्यहम् इदं कृत्स्नम् एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्. What all need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Rasapriya. अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन विष्टभ्यहम् इदं कृत्स्नम् एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Next, Suvarnangi Mataji, Narsimha Lila Chaitanya Prabhu, Surya and Spurti.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Atava bahunaitena kim jnatena tavarjuna vishthabhyaham idam kritsnam ekamshena sthito jagat. Translation. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन विस्तभ्याहम् इदं कृत्स्नम् एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्. Translation by Mr. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Priyanka Haripriya Mataji. Oh, yes, Prabhuji.
No, Mataji, certainly not there.
They're not there. Yeah, okay. Priyanka Haripriya Mataji. Later.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Please accept my
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Yes.
अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तव अर्जुन विष्टाभ्याहम् इदं कृत्स्नम् एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
Hare Krishna. Saujanya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Srila Prabhupada, and the Devotee.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Go ahead, Mataji.
Istabhyaham idam krishnam ekam shena sthito jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay. Achintadev Prabhu. Okay, I'll recite Bhagavad Gita 10:42. Athava bahunaitena kim gyatena tavarjuna vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam ekamshena sthito jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Achintadev Prabhu, are you ready?
Yes, Mataji, I can.
Go ahead. You want to try?
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Mataji, I can try.
Yeah.
अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तवर्जुन विष्टभ्यम् इदं कृष्णम् एकं सेना स्थितो जगत्. Translation. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Okay.
Mataji, I'll just check. Aditi and Arunita should be able to read.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Athava bahunaitena kim gyatena tavarjuna vishtavyaham idam kritsnam ekam sena sthito jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Arunita.
Atava Bhagnam Dina Kim Kyantera Tavarjuna Vistabhayaham Idam Kritsnam Ekam Sena Stito Jagat. Translation. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
Hare Krishna. Inba Inia, Jai Shri Mataji, Jai Ganesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Atava bahunatena kimnyatena tavarjuna vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam ekam sena sthito jagat. Translation. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
Inia.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Atava bahunatena kimnyatena tavarjuna vishtabhyaham kritsnam ekam sena sthito jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
Mataji and Prabhuji aate.
Yes, sir. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. All glories to Prabhupada.
Atava bahunetena kimnyatena tavarjuna vishtapya ham idam katsnam ekam shena tato jagat. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Thank you, Mataji.
Jai Ganesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Atava bhagunaiktena kinyatena tavarjuna vistabhyaham idam krishnam ekam sena sthito jagat. Translation, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all the detailed knowledge with a single fragment of myself? I pervade and support this entire universe.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Sonia Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisance. Please, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Mataji.
Tapyaham idam krishnam ekam shena sthito jagat. Translation. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else? Did everyone recite? Okay, so we'll begin Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 10. We're reading about Lord Ramchandra. Yes, and this chapter is entitled The Pastimes of the Supreme Lord Ramchandra. So, we are reading about the descendants of Ikshvaku Maharaj, and in that we came up to Khatvanga Maharaj. So then we saw Khatvanga Maharaj's son is Dirghabahu. Dirghabahu's son is Aja. And Aja's son is Raghu. Sorry, the other way. Spurti, can you mute yourself? Okay, she's okay. Yeah. So, okay. So we were reading about the descendants coming down from Khatvanga Maharaj. So Khatvanga Maharaj's son is Dirghabahu. Dirghabahu's son is Raghu. Raghu's son is Aja. Aja's son is Dasharath Maharaj. So then Dasharath Maharaj's son is Lord Ramchandra. So we read yesterday that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramchandra, the Supreme Lord, appeared along with his expansions and consecutive expansions. Why he appeared? Being prayed for by the demigods. The Supreme Lord appeared. And what are the names? Lord Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrughna. And another thing that we understood from the purport is they are all Vishnu Tattvas. That means they are all equally powerful. Deeparchireva hi dashantaram abhyupetya deepayate vivrita hetu samana dharma. Like that. Like when there are many lamps with the same candle power, they all have the same, they all emit the same heat and light, same amount of heat and light. Similarly, all Vishnu Tattvas are equally powerful, like that. So the Lord appeared. Then in one verse, we read how Lord Ramchandra, in order to. Now, one more point. Sukadev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj that you have heard the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra again and again. So I'm only going to describe the transcendental activities of Lord Ramchandra in brief. So there Srila Prabhupada made a comment that we should only hear Tadvidhi Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadekshanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas Tattvadarshinaha. That means you should accept knowledge only from the Tattvadarshis. So Ramayana is written by many persons, but not all of them are Tattvadarshis. So therefore you should only accept the pastimes of the Lord, or spiritual knowledge should be only accepted from Tattvadarshis. Others don't have the capacity to transmit the spiritual knowledge. They cannot understand the pastimes of the Lord, then what they will speak. That's the point. So Srila Prabhupada says, so this is Srila Prabhupada's lectures on Bhagavad Gita on second chapter. So I think it's verse 18. Antavanta ime deha nityasya ukta sharirina. Nityasya uktaha. Uktaha. Srila Prabhupada gave class on that word uktaha. Antavanta ime deha nityasya ukta sharirina. Anashino prameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharata. Right? So this, this living entity is immeasurable. But the main point is uktaha. Uktaha means it is said. It is said by whom? So Srila Prabhupada is stressing on that point. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His words are the authority. But still, to set an example, again, just to set an example, he himself quotes, it is said that the soul is immeasurable and indestructible. Aprameyasya. Aprameyasya means you cannot measure the soul, right? It is so small. The measurement is given, but nobody can measure it, right? If you break the tip of the hair into 100 parts and take one of those parts and break into another 100 parts, that would be the size of the spirit soul. But even though the measurement is given, nobody can measure it. The important point here is it is so small, no one can measure it. Nobody can measure it. Then you have to accept the knowledge from Shastra. So our job is very easy. If you have full faith in Shastra, and if somebody came and asked you some information about the soul, right, then even though you have not researched it yourself, nor have you seen it yourself, by your direct perception, you have not experienced it, nor have you done any analysis on that, or you have not done any research on that, still you can give that information, because for us it is available ready-made. It is given in the Shastra. The knowledge given in the Shastra is free from all defects. So you can just give that knowledge like that. So that is the advantage that we have when we accept the version of the Shastra as it is. There is no other way that you can find out about the Supreme Lord. The only way is through Shastra. So, Tattvadarshi, so those who have seen the truth, only they can actually understand the Supreme Lord. How they understand the Supreme Lord? By dint of their devotional service to the Supreme Lord. The truth is revealed to them like that. So, and then they give us the scriptures, like Vyasdev, he gave us, right? The Vedas. He gave us means they're already there. Shastras are, the Vedas are eternal. In the Vedas, you also have the Puranas, Itihasas, they're all included in the Vedas. Originally, there was one Veda. And because in Kali Yuga, people are not qualified, they're not intelligent, their memory is very poor, their lifespan is very short, they're always disturbed, they cannot be focused on the subject. So because of all these disqualifications, Vyasdev divided the one Veda into branches and gave each branch to one authority, and so it is difficult for one person to learn all the Vedas. So therefore, he said, okay, you take this much, a part of that, and you'll be responsible for this much. Responsible to continue it, right? You pass it on to the next generation. They will pass it on to the next generation. In this way, the people of Kali Yuga will get this Vedic knowledge. Before Kali Yuga, the Vedas were all in one. And one person would study all the Vedas, and they didn't even have the written form. It was simply heard from the spiritual master. You hear it, you recite after the spiritual master, and it's registered for life. You would know everything. Because they were so advanced in previous ages. But in Kali Yuga, they're not as advanced. So therefore, Vyasdev, first of all, he put it down in writing. And even then, he divided it into, so originally there was the Yajur Veda. Now from the Yajur Veda, he took all those verses. So the Vedic mantras are recited by the priests when they perform yajna. Whenever there's a yajna, there are 4 priests sitting on 4 sides of that yajna kund. So one priest would recite. So what Vyasdev did was, so each of the priests are called by different names. One priest would recite the mantras, from the Rig Veda. Another priest, so he took all the mantras to be recited by one priest. He gave him all those mantras and he named that Veda as the Rig Veda. Then the other priest, he gave all the mantras from the Samaveda. He named it Samaveda. All the mantras to be recited by that priest, he said, Ritvik, right? The 4 Ritviks. So he gave to the other Ritvik and he said, now you take this. So that was the Samaveda. And then some more he gave as Yajurveda. Same Yajurveda, but he took because one priest would recite the mantras of Yajurveda. He gave it as Yajurveda. And the last one, he gave the mantras, or, he called it Atharva Veda. And still, there were all these stories and histories still remaining in that original Veda. All those put together, he called it the Puranas and Itihasas. And he gave that to Romaharshana, like that. So he made each sage in charge of, responsible for passing it on. So that person became like, Paila Rishi became in charge for Rig Veda, like that. And then whatever other mantras were remaining, still there were some mantras remaining, he put them all in Yajurveda. So what do we understand from this whole exercise or from this history? We understand that the Puranas and Itihasas are also Vedas. They are also Vedas. They are all as authentic as Vedas. Understanding Vedas is very difficult. The language is very high. The other day I was telling you. And also the availability. You don't have all the Vedas available. But the Puranas are available. Right? Puranas are available. And the Puranas actually expand the meanings of the Vedas. So it is easily understandable through the Puranas. Why I am saying all this here is because Uktaha, the word Uktaha, that means whatever is said by the Tattvadarshis, Uktaha, right? Whatever is spoken by the Tattvadarshis, they have given us, right? Now they're passing it on to the next generation, to their disciples, The Tattvadarshis, they are able to give us. That's how we know, right? We have the parampara. In the parampara, it is coming down. So you can only accept Vedic knowledge or spiritual knowledge which is handed down in parampara by the Tattvadarshi. It's coming from the Tattvadarshi. Then you can see. Tattvadarshi means the self-realized person. Then we can accept it. Otherwise, don't accept it. So that was the point that Srila Prabhupada is bringing out when Sukadev Goswami told Parikshit Maharaj that you have heard it many times. Srila Prabhupada is saying that means even back then, there were many versions of Ramayana written by different people, but it is not necessary that all of them are authentic. All of them may not be authentic. You should only take from the Tattvadarshi. That is the important point. But Sukadev Goswami is saying, you have heard it, so I'm going to tell you briefly. I'm not going to tell in detail. So yesterday we saw in brief, right, how in order to fulfill the promise made by his father, Lord Ramchandra went to the forest and his consort Sita Devi accompanied him along with his brother Lakshman, accompanied Lord Ramchandra. Then also how he was, assisted by Lakshman and also the monkey king. It is said you can either take it as Hanuman or Sugriva. And then how Sita Devi was kidnapped. No, how Lord Ramchandra or Lakshman had cut off the nose and ears of Surpanaka. Then Ravana came to kidnap Sita Devi. So he kidnapped Sita Devi, he took her away. Then Lord Ramchandra, with the help of the Vanara Sena, the army, monkey army, Vanara army, he went to fight with Ravana, and he wanted to cross the ocean. So he asked the ocean god Samudra to give them way. And when Samudra didn't respond, Lord Ramchandra was angry and he was about to shoot his arrow. Then Samudra came and fell on the feet of Lord Ramchandra, begging forgiveness, and he said, I'm here to serve you. Then Lord Ramchandra marched across the ocean. They built a bridge, and the entire Vanara army went. And Lord Ramchandra entered Lanka, just like a forest fire, a fire burning the forest, like that. And also how he killed Ravana and then brought Sita Devi back to Ayodhya. We read until that, right? And also, yeah, when they came back, Vibhishan was there, Sugriva. So in purport, Srila Prabhupada explained, Vibhishan was there, or was it in the summary? Let's just see. I hope I don't say more than what is there. Yeah, to keep the promise, yeah, we read, yeah, he constructed a bridge to cross the ocean. Subsequently, the Lord entered the kingdom of Ravana to kill him like a fire devouring a forest. May the Supreme Lord Ramchandra give us all protection. Okay. Then next, text 5. So Sukadev Goswami is describing the not describing, very briefly, he's mentioning the transcendental activities of Lord Ramchandra, who is a descendant in Ikshwaku dynasty. So today is whose turn? I know Isha up to Rasapriya they read. Lokesh, yes, Lokesh read, and Mataji Prabhu. Okay, so Lokesh is not here today.
Medha's done, I think.
Sonia Mataji, right? Did Sonia Mataji read yesterday? Yeah, she did. You're right. So Medha, is she here? They're not here. So then next would be Neelambari Radha. Actually, Narsimalila Chaitanya Prabhu, Suraj Purti Swarnangi Mataji, then Neelambari Mataji. Okay. Vishwamitra. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, just mute yourself for a minute. विश्वामित्राध्वरे येन मारीचाद्या निशाचराः पश्यतो लक्ष्मणस्यैव हता नैऋत पुङ्गवाः. Yeah, go ahead. Spurti.
In the arena of the sacrifice performed by Vishwamitra, Lord Ramachandra, the king of Ayodhya, killed many demons, rakshasas, and uncivilized men who wandered at night in the mode of darkness. May Lord Ramachandra, who killed these demons in the presence of Lakshmana, be kind enough to give us protection.
Yes. So then, Hare Krishna. Another quality or transcendental activity of Lord Ramchandra. So, yeah. In the arena of the sacrifice performed by Vishwamitra, Lord Ramchandra, the king of Ayodhya, killed many demons, rakshasas, and uncivilized men who wandered at night in the mode of darkness. May Lord Ramchandra, who killed these demons in the presence of Lakshman, be kind enough to give us protection. So what is this? So Lord Ramchandra was hardly 16 years old when Vishwamitra Muni came to Ayodhya asking Dasharath Maharaj to send Lord Ramchandra to fight with the Rakshasas. Why? Because Vishwamitra Muni was performing a sacrifice for the welfare of all the people, all the sages and all the people. And while performing sacrifice, his experience had been, the sacrifice lasted for several days. So on the last day, until the last day of the sacrifice, there's no disturbance. But and another thing is, when Vishwamitra Muni is himself taking part in the sacrifice, he could not speak. Like, he had to give his attention to the sacrifice. He was in meditation when he's performing that sacrifice. So he could not speak, or he could not get angry, things like that. So when the Rakshasas came, if he tried to deal with the Rakshasas, then the sacrifice would not be successful. And the Rakshasas would come just on the last day when the sacrifice would be completed, and it would be successful, and they would come and disturb the whole sacrifice by throwing all obnoxious things on the yagya kund, like stool and urine and blood, like that. They would rain from the skies, and they would just spoil the whole yagya. So Lord Ramchandra, Vishwamitra Muni came to ask for Lord Ramchandra. Of course, Dashrath Maharaj was shocked. He's just a boy. You want him to fight with Rakshasas? I can come myself with my entire army. He's not even properly trained yet. He won't be able to fight a battle. Vishwamitra Muni was getting angry that Dashrath Maharaj had promised. When Vishwamitra Muni first came, Dashrath Maharaj asked him, how may I serve you? And then Vishwamitra Muni said, I came to ask you something. So Dashrath Maharaj said, please, whatever it is, I will do. Right? So do you promise? Yes, 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 I promise. And then when Vishwamitra Muni asked, I want Lord Ramchandra, after he finishes the job, I'll bring him back to you. Then Dashrath Maharaj said, no, 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 I cannot. So after giving his word, now he's going back on his promise. So this is not befitting a descendant of Ikshvaku Maharaj. Vishwamitra Muni's eyes became red in anger. So Dashrath Maharaj, he was also bewildered now what to do. So then again he said, can you tell me who these Rakshasas are? What are their names? Then Vishwamitra Muni said, it's Maricha and Subahu. They are the associates of Ravana. So when Dashrath Maharaj heard the name Ravana, he was, Ravana, right? So nobody can, even the demigods are fearful of Ravana. Who can fight Ravana? And you want my small boy to come? No, 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 please. Like that. So anyway, Vasishta Muni immediately came to Dashrath Maharaj and said, don't worry. Vishwamitra Muni is not an ordinary person. He's so powerful. If he wanted, he could kill the Rakshasas himself. But he's asking you to send your sons. Have faith, have confidence in him. Right? He will equip them with all the astras that they need. He will take care of it. You don't worry. So then, on Vasishta Muni's assurance, Dashrath Maharaj sends Ram and Lakshman. He requested, please take Lakshman with Ram, because he cannot live without Ramchandra even for a moment. So like that, Ram, Lakshman go with Vishwamitra Muni, and there on the way, Vishwamitra Muni tells them many histories, right? And also he gave them the mantras Bala and Atibala, with which they could conquer hunger, thirst, and they could fight these Rakshasas, like that. So finally they arrived at Vishwamitra Muni's ashram, and then the yagya had started the next day, and Vishwamitra Muni gave them the instructions. And yes, on the final day of the yagya, when Maricha and Subahu appeared, Lord Ramchandra, shot his arrows, and one of them he just killed, and the other one, Maricha, he just shot an arrow which threw him, I don't know how many miles, 80 miles? Yeah, several miles away into the ocean. And he got such a shock after that he gave up his Rakshasa activities. He became a sadhu, right? He went into the jungle sitting and meditating. He got so scared of Ramchandra that, wherever he would see, he would only see Lord Ram and he would be fearful. So he became a sadhu out of fear of Lord Ramchandra. That's Maricha. So these are the wonderful activities of Lord Ramchandra. So that's what is said in this verse, that in the arena of the sacrifice performed by Vishwamitra, Lord Ramchandra, the king of Ayodhya, at that time he was a prince, right, killed many demons, Rakshasas, and uncivilized men who wandered at night in the mode of darkness. May Lord Ramchandra, who killed these demons in the presence of Lakshman, be kind enough to give us protection. So it is also a prayer, right? Glorification and prayer. Text 6 and 7. So, next, either Suhrid, Prabhuji or Mataji. Yo lokavira samitau dhanuraisamugram Sita swayam varagrihe trishatopanītam Ādāya bala gajalila ivekshu yashtim Sajjīkritam nripavikrishya babhanja madhye Jitvanurupa gunashila vayongarupam सीताभिधां श्रियमुरस्यभिलब्धमानां मार्गे व्रजन् भृगुपतेर्व्यनयत् प्ररूढम् दर्पं महीम् अकृतयस्त्रिरराजबीजम्. Yes, go ahead.
Krishna Mataji translation. O king, the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra were wonderful, like those of a baby elephant. In the assembly where Mother Sita chose her husband in the midst of the heroes of this world, he broke the bow belonging to Lord Shiva. This bow was so heavy that it was carried by 300 men, but Lord Ramachandra bent and strung it and broke it in the middle, just as a baby elephant breaks a stick of sugarcane. Thus the Lord achieved the hand of Mother Sita, who was equally as endowed with transcendental qualities of form, beauty, behavior, age, nature. Indeed, she was the goddess of fortune who constantly rests on the chest of the Lord. While returning from Sita's home, after gaining her at the assembly of the competitors, Lord Ramchandra met Parshuram. Although Parshuram was very proud, having rid the earth of the royal order 21 times, he was defeated by the Lord, who appeared to be a Kshatriya of the lower order.
So, after Vishwamitra Muni's yagya was a success, then now they were supposed to go back to Ayodhya, isn't it? Ram and Lakshman along with Vishwamitra Muni. But Vishwamitra Muni, along with some sages, was headed towards Mithila. He took Ram, Lakshman also there. And he told them that Janak Maharaj had this huge bow called Shiva Dhanush. And the history of how that Dhanush came to Janak Maharaj, and how, through generations they've been worshipping this Dhanush, right? And also how once Sita Devi, when she was still young, even now at this time also she was like 9 years old, right? But she would just very easily pick up that bow. So then Dasharath Maharaj felt that she should get a husband who would be what did I say? Sorry, not Dasharath Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, Sita Devi's father. So he felt that she should get a husband. She's not ordinary. What is the nature of this bow? 300 muscular, soldiers. It took 300 men to drag it. They're not even lift it. They had this bow kept on, it was on wheels, like on a cart. And even to move it from one place, from one room to another, it took 300 powerful men. and Sita Devi would very easily pick it up looking for her ball or something. So Janak Maharaj, when he saw that, of course, even Sita Devi right from the beginning, she appeared from the earth. So she was transcendental. So he felt that he should find a suitable husband for Sita Devi. So he made this condition that anyone who would be able to string this Shiva Dhanush would be selected as Sita Devi's husband. So many kings and princes had come and tried their luck. What to speak of lifting it and stringing it? They couldn't even pick it up a little. Nobody. Even Ravana had tried. Nobody could even lift it a little bit above the platform where it was kept. So Lord Ramchandra was told, Ram and Lakshman were told about the history of this Dhanush and how there is a Swayamvara for Sita Devi. So let's just go and take a look at this Dhanush like that. So when Lord Ramchandra went there, actually even before he went and lifted the Dhanush, who is Sita Devi? Sita Devi is the internal energy of Lord Ramchandra. One thing we should always remember, no matter how many times I have said this, repeated it, but it's important, so therefore repetition is required. The transcendental pastimes of the Lord and all the episodes that are there in the scriptures, they are not like news reports or history. They are not history. History means something has happened and then it is recorded, right? There was the, like they say, this civilization was there, that civilization was there, Roman Empire was there, and then the downfall of that empire. That is history. But what is there in the scriptures like Ramayana, Mahabharata, this is not history. This is Shastra. These are the Vedas, the Puranas, and Itihasas. They are all transcendental. They are eternal. That means they don't have beginning and end. So, Lord Ramachandra's eternal consort is Sita Devi, his internal energy. This is their eternal pastime. And whenever they appear on this earth, then that pastime is repeated and it's going on. So at the same time, it's happening in different places. So the point is that whatever is there in the scriptures, sometimes people from other faiths challenge, right? You say that your scriptures are eternal, but we find recent activities, right? Recent histories found in your scripture. For example, you talk about Mahabharata and that just happened 5,000 years ago. If this Bhagavad Gita and Mahabharata, if it is eternal, then how something which is eternal, how you find in that eternal scripture you're seeing recent activities that just happened recently. You understand my point? Because this happened just recently. How you're finding these activities in your Vedas, which you're saying Vedas didn't, nobody has written them. They're there. So the way to understand is these Vedas are not written after the activities have happened. Activities are happening based on what is there in the Vedas. That is the point. Activities or these pastimes are happening according to what is there in the Puranas, in the Vedas. And they are eternal. They are eternal. So when Lord Ramchandra came, he saw Sita Devi, his eternal consort. Sita Devi saw Lord Ramchandra, and that natural attraction between the Lord and his internal energy, it was once again, awakened. Sita Devi really wanted Lord Ramchandra to pick up that bow. So she was praying she was praying to the Lord that may Lord Ramchandra be able to, string that bow. And Lord Ramchandra, a youth, right, like 16-year-old youth, but he was like a baby elephant, it is said. Why baby elephant? Because he was still a very, a fresh youth, but at the same time so powerful, like an elephant, like a baby elephant. They are fond of sugarcane. Do you know? In Mayapur, they grow. I don't know right now, but they used to grow a few years ago sugarcane fields to feed elephants. There are 2 elephants here. Radha Madhav have 2 elephants. To feed them, they have these fields growing sugarcane for the elephants. So that tells us that they are fond of sugarcane. So a young elephant, a baby elephant, how easily can it just take a sugarcane and just break it into 2 pieces? Like that, with with ease, Lord Ramchandra picked up this bow, which couldn't even be dragged easily by 300 powerful men. He picked it up very easily. He just picked it up and he was trying to string it. While he was stringing it, he bent it so much, right? Bent it into a circle, and then it just broke into 2. And it made such a sound, which was heard in the whole universe. So this is that pastime. The pastimes of Lord Ramchandra were wonderful, like those of a baby elephant. In the assembly where Mother Sita was to choose her husband, in the midst of the heroes of this world, he broke the bow belonging to Lord Shiva. So this bow was a special bow, as I told you. It actually belonged to Lord Shiva, that he used against demons, very powerful demons. And after killing those demons, he gave it to one of the ancestors of Janak Maharaj, and in that way for generations it was handed down. It was so heavy that it was carried by 300 men, but Lord Ramchandra bent and strung it and broke it in the middle, just as a baby elephant breaks a stick of sugar cane. Thus the Lord achieved the hand of Mother Sita. So he had fulfilled the condition. He not only strung the bow, he broke it into 2. And he was equally so Sita Devi, she was his internal energy. She was equally endowed with transcendental qualities in her form, in age, in her nature, her beauty, everything. She was comparable to Lord Ramchandra. So she was married to Lord Ramchandra. She was the goddess of fortune who constantly rests on the chest of the Lord. So like this, Lord Ramchandra got married, and at the same time, the other brothers also. So Sita Devi had a younger sister, Urmila. So when Lord Ramchandra won Sita Devi's hand, immediately message was sent to Dasharath Maharaj, because Dasharath Maharaj sent Ramchandra and Lakshman to defeat the demons, to fight with the Rakshasas. But now they get a message that, Lord Ramchandra has won the hand of Sita Devi, you should come immediately for the wedding, right? We'll arrange a wedding ceremony. So like that. So then Dasharath Maharaj came, and then I forget if Janak Maharaj asked or Dasharath Maharaj asked that the others also should be married, or was it Vishwamitra Muni? Anyway, one of them suggested that, because Dasharath Maharaj had 3 other sons. So Sita Devi had a younger sister, Urmila, who could be married to Lakshman. And also, Janak Maharaj had a brother, Kushadwaja. He had 2 daughters, Mandavi and Shrutakirti. So they could be married to Bharat and Shatrughna respectively. And everyone was so happy. So there were 4 weddings performed simultaneously. Lord Ramchandra, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughna married to their respective consorts. So after the whole wedding and everything, on the way back, then Parashuram came, and he had this Vishnu Dhanush or Hari Dhanush. Like Lord Ramchandra had broken Shiva Dhanush, so Parashuram had the bow of Lord Vishnu with him. So he challenged Lord Ramchandra, you broke the Shiv Dhanush, how arrogant you are. So now you use this Vishnu Dhanush, then I will accept that you are actually powerful. Now this Vishnu Dhanush could only be used by who? By Lord Vishnu. So when Lord Ramchandra actually picked up that Dhanush and he was ready, he trained his arrow, then Parashuram understood he was actually defeated like that. So that's why here it is said that while returning from Sita's home after gaining her at the assembly of competitors, Lord Ramchandra met Parashuram. Although Parashuram was very proud, having rid the earth of the royal order 21 times. Remember, Parashuram had taken a vow to rid the earth of all the Kshatriyas, and he had already done that 21 times. Yesterday we discussed how he would even come for Dasharath Maharaj. 350 times he came. And every time he would come, Dasharath Maharaj would be marrying. So then he would just leave Dasharath Maharaj alone, like that. So now when he saw Lord Ramchandra, apparently, right, another Kshatriya, right? So he came, he was very angry with the Kshatriyas. So here it is said, Sukadeva Goswami is saying that Parashuram, being arrogant of killing all the Kshatriyas, ridding the earth of all Kshatriyas 21 times, he challenged even Lord Ramchandra, but he was defeated. He was defeated. He was defeated by the Supreme Lord who appeared as a Kshatriya. So then after that, he desisted from killing the Kshatriyas apparently. Text 8. Yah satyapasha parivita piturnidesham strainasya chapi shirasa jagrihe sabharyah Rajyam Shriyam Pranayinah Suhrido Nivasam Tyaktva Yayau Vanamasoon Iva Mukta Sangaha. Wow, we have Suhrid, we have Mukta Sangha in this shloka. Anyone else? I think that's all. Okay. Next is.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Carrying out the order of his father, who was bound by a promise to his wife, Lord Ramchandra left behind his kingdom, opulence, friends, well-wishers, residence, and everything else, just as a liberated soul gives up his life and went to the forest with Sita.
So you see, we see the opulences, right? Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashasa shriya jnana vairagya. These are the 6 opulences of the Supreme Lord. So earlier we saw viryasya, right? How he is chivalrous, very powerful, very strong, that we saw in the previous verse. Now we see his quality of renunciation, just giving up everything, not even thinking about it. So here we see carrying out the order of his father, who was bound by a promise to his wife. Lord Ramchandra left behind his kingdom, opulence, friends, well-wishers, residence, and everything else, just as a liberated soul gives up his life and went to the forest with Sita. So, let's read the purport and then we'll discuss. Purport.
Purport. Maharaj Dasharatha had 3 wives. One of them, Kaikeyi, served him very pleasingly, and he therefore wanted to give her a benediction. Kaikeyi, however, said that she would ask for the benediction when it was necessary. At the time of the coronation of Prince Ramachandra, Kaikeyi requested her husband to enthrone her son Bharata, and sent Ramachandra to the forest. Maharaj Dasharatha, being bound by his promise, ordered Ramachandra to go to the forest according to the dictation of his beloved. And the Lord, as an obedient son, accepted the order immediately. He left everything without hesitation, just as a liberated soul or a young yogi gives up his life without material attraction.
Yeah, thank you. So this one we discussed yesterday about how Kaikeyi got the 2 boons and how Dashrath Maharaj was obliged to fulfill those boons. But from Lord Ramchandra's perspective, let's look at the situation from Lord Ramchandra's perspective. He was unanimously chosen by all the citizens, all the ministers, and by his father, the king himself, to be the next emperor. And all preparations were done, and it was the day when he was going to be coronated as the prince regent. He would become the next king after Dasharath Maharaj. And everyone is so happy, feeling so proud. Sita Devi is so happy. His mother Kaushalya was so happy. The whole city is celebrating that finally, their desire is going to be fulfilled. Lord Ramchandra is going to become their king. And he is called to Dasharath Maharaj's palace. And he's informed that he's supposed to leave the kingdom now. He's not going to be the king, but his younger brother Bharat would become the king. And Ram in turn would have to go to the forest for 14 years and live there in the forest like an ascetic, wearing tree bark, living on forest fare, whatever roots and whatever you get in the forest, for 14 years. We read it like a story. Just consider, if it happened to you or me, what would be our reaction? Inconceivable. Inconceivable. Not for himself, but this gave so much pain to all the citizens, to his dear devotees. And the Lord endured it all. And without even thinking once, he just left everything behind. How? Like a liberated soul would give up this body. A liberated soul lives in this body. What's the difference between someone who's conditioned and someone who's liberated? I mean, as far as his connection with the body. A conditioned soul, his connection with his body is like a green coconut. Green coconut, the pulp inside is stuck to the shell. It is stuck. But a liberated soul, he's like a dry coconut which is separated from the shell. That means even though he is in this body, he is not attached to that body. At any time, he can freely go. He doesn't even think twice about leaving the body. So Lord Ramchandra left his kingdom, left his claim to the throne, and for 14 years, simply to keep his father's word, he just left. You see how renounced the Supreme Lord is. That we see in this verse. Maharaj Dasharath had, here. Yeah. Carrying out the order of his father, who was bound by a promise to his wife, Lord Ramchandra left behind his kingdom, opulence, friends, well-wishers, residents, and everything else, just as a liberated soul gives up his life. Yes. How he left everything? Just as a liberated soul gives up his life. And he went to the forest with Sita. So Sukadev Goswami is listing or indicating, hinting, right? Just mentioning the various transcendental activities and qualities of Lord Ramchandra. So we will stop here today. We'll continue tomorrow. Let's read Bhagavad Gita and Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita. So tomorrow we will begin with Neelambari Radha Mataji. Yes, Mataji, Aditi Lata Mataji.
Mataji, I heard in one lecture, that's what I'm wanting to share, is why in Purana or somewhere it was mentioned why this pastime, I mean, why Sita Devi went to the forest, and the reason behind it, because I was always inquisitive about this, so this was very interesting. So Lakshmi Devi complained to Lord Vishnu that everyone is taking your attention, everyone, you are always busy with others, I'm not getting opportunity to serve you totally, total one-on-one relation I'm not getting with you. So then Vishnu said that, okay, fine, in the pastime, in Ramchandra's pastime, you will have enough time with me. So in this 13 years, in 14th year, they had all these things, but until 13 years, Sita Devi and Ramchandra, they had their intimate relation, one-on-one, where no one could disturb them.
Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that, Mataji. Okay. So let us read Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita introduction. So we read this yesterday. What is Sanatan Dharma? Sanatan Dharma means that which is an integral part of the living entity. So Srila Prabhupada gives the example of liquidity of water and saltiness of salt. That's the integral part, or sweetness of sugar. It cannot be separated. So similarly, the dharma of the living entity is not Hinduism or Christianity or Islam or Judaism. That's not the dharma. Dharma is something which is not inseparable from the living entity, and it's there in all living entities, regardless of which background they may be. It's not just for all human beings, it's for all living entities. That which cannot be separated from the living entity is Sanatan Dharma. Then what about all the other dharmas that we have in this world? Are they also Sanatan Dharma? Woman Dharma, man Dharma, right? President Dharma, doctors Dharma, teachers Dharma. What are they then? Are they also Sanatan Dharma? Non-Sanatan religious faith may have some beginning in the annals of human history, but there is no beginning to the history of Sanatan Dharma, because it remains eternally with the living entities. The living entities are eternal. There is no history of when the living entities came into existence, right? When they began. There is no history like that. And then, because the living entities have been in existence eternally, their dharma is also eternal. There's no beginning. So non-Sanatan dharma, all other faiths or dharmas, you can trace out the history, when it started, who started that dharma, under what circumstances, isn't it? So therefore they are not Sanatan dharma. Sanatan dharma, it will go back. If you just start going back, oh, what about the previous generation, the generation before that? It will go all the way up to the beginning of creation, and in fact even before creation. Anadi, Srila Prabhupada says, Anadi means even before creation. It was there even before creation. That's what Anadi, because for us, Adi means the creation, right? The beginning of the creation. Srila Prabhupada says, Anadi means even before creation. It's been there even before. That means you cannot trace out the beginning. You cannot trace out the beginning. So that's true of the living entities. That's true of their dharma. What is their dharma? The dharma of the living entities is to serve. And who is the person that they are supposed to serve? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Sanatan and non-Sanatan. So, non-Sanatan religious faiths have some beginning, but Sanatan Dharma has no beginning because it is with the living entities, and the living entities are eternal. Insofar as the living entities are concerned, the authoritative Shastras state that the living entity has neither birth nor death. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin. Right? Nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah. Ajo nityah shashvatoyam purano. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. For the soul, there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, primeval, and he is not slain when the body is slain. This is the soul, right? There is no beginning for the soul. He is never born and he never dies. He is eternal and indestructible, and he continues to live after the destruction of his temporary material body. He continues to live. Even if the body, temporary material body is destroyed, the soul continues to live. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptir. Dehantara. After the end of this body, again you'll get another body. In reference to the concept of Sanatan Dharma, we must try to understand the concept of religion from the Sanskrit root meaning of the word. Dharma refers to that which is constantly existing with a particular object. So now, what do you mean by religion, right? Srila Prabhupada says religion, if you look in the English dictionary, it is translated as faith. But faith can be changed, and we see that in the society. Somebody who was Christian before changes his faith to Hinduism, or somebody who was Hindu before changes his faith to either Christianity or Islam. Faith changes. And if you say dharma means faith, then you're not doing justice. Dharma means that which cannot be changed, right? Dharma refers to that which is constantly existing with a particular object. It is constantly existing. It's inherent. That is dharma. We conclude there is heat and light along with the fire. So the dharma of fire would be heat and light. Without heat and light, there is no meaning to the word fire. Similarly, we must discover the essential part of the living being, that part which is his constant companion. That constant companion is his eternal quality, and that eternal quality is his eternal religion or dharma. So it is not this eternal Sanatan Dharma is not sectarian. That's the important point. So we'll continue Bhagavad Gita reading tomorrow, and also let me read Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita. Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita, continuation. Okay, Srila Prabhupada is writing to his God brothers. Yeah, he wrote and he didn't get any help. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada is saying, why should they not help? He thought. After all, they were devotees of Krishna. Shouldn't the devotees come forward to establish the first Krishna temple in America? Certainly, he was qualified and authorized to spread the message of Krishna. As for the place, remember, there is, Srila Prabhupada said, some building is available, but he didn't have funds. Somehow or other, if he got funds, they could get that temple and they could start, the mission of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in America. So now he didn't get any help. So Srila Prabhupada is contemplating. As for the place, New York was perhaps the most cosmopolitan city in the world. He had found a building, not very expensive, a good location, and there was a great need for a Krishna temple here to offset the propaganda of the Indian Mayavadis. The Indian Mayavadis were exploiting the people. They were not giving any spiritual benefit, but simply exploiting them. The Krishna Bhaktas to whom he was writing understood Lord Krishna to be not simply a Hindu deity, but the Supreme Lord, worshipable for the whole world. So they should be pleased to see Krishna worshipped in New York. Krishna himself said in the Bhagavad Gita, "Give up all other duties and surrender to me." So if they were Krishna's devotees, why would they not help? What kind of devotee was it who did not want to glorify the Lord? But Srila Prabhupada did not judge beforehand who would serve Krishna's mission and who would not, right? So the devotees that he wrote to who were in India, they didn't help, but that doesn't mean that Srila Prabhupada already judged that, oh, they won't help and someone else. He didn't judge beforehand. He was fully surrendered and fully dependent on Krishna. And in obedience to his spiritual master, he would approach everyone without discrimination to ask for help. There was Sumati Morarji. She had helped him in publishing the Bhagavatam, and she had sent him to America. In a recent letter to her, he had only given hints. I am just giving you the idea, and if you kindly think over the matter seriously and consult your beloved Lord Balakrishna, surely you will be further enlightened in the matter. There is scope, and there is certainly necessity also, and it is the duty of every Indian, especially the devotees of Lord Krishna, to take up the matter. So he didn't directly ask her, but he certainly made it very clear. He hinted to her that she should also come forward to start this temple. But he had received no reply. He had not heard from her since, Butler, though her words to him had seemed prophetic, and they had stuck with him. I feel that you should stay there until you fully recover from your illness and return only after you have completed your mission. That, right? You should return only after you have completed your mission. That stuck in Srila Prabhupada's mind. Now Sumati Morarji must do something big, he told her point blank. I think therefore that a temple of Balakrishna in New York may immediately be started for this purpose. And as a for what purpose? To fulfill the mission, to complete the mission, right? And as a devotee of Lord Balakrishna, you should execute this great and noble work. Till now, there is no worshipable temple of the Hindus in New York. Although in India there are so many American missionary establishments and churches. See, in India there are American churches, but in America there's not one temple of Krishna. So I shall request you to do this noble act, and it will be recorded in the history of the world that the first Hindu temple is started by a pious Hindu lady, Srimati Sumati Morarji, who is not only a big business magnate in India, but a pious Hindu lady and a great devotee of Lord Krishna. This task is for you and glorious at the same time. He assured her that he had no ambition to become the proprietor of a house or temple in America, but for preaching, a building would be absolutely required. How much Srila Prabhupada had to, beg and request people, not for himself, but for Krishna's mission. Of course, for them, but to spread Krishna's name, to carry out the order of a spiritual master. And I was also thinking, when the opportunity comes, it's there for everyone. Those who take the opportunity, they go in history, like George Harrison. Srila Prabhupada asked Shyam Sundar Prabhu to ask George Harrison to sponsor publishing the Krishna book. And George Harrison had recently sponsored a marble for the temple altar, a very costly marble. I think it was like 5,000 pounds or something. And soon after that, now, we need to publish Krishna book. It's like 19,000 pounds, right? But he did it. He did it. And it's history now, right? Srila Prabhupada in the beginning, the foreword of Krishna book wrote about George Harrison, that he's a nice boy. May Krishna bless him, like that. So here also Srila Prabhupada is saying that if you did this, this would be to your credit, right? You will go in history. You'll be the first person who has helped in, starting a Krishna temple in America. But yeah, the choice is there. You can either take it or you don't take it. So yes, Mataji, Aditi Lata Mataji.
Mataji, for George Harrison, that beautiful pastime was there. How he did it, how he accepted. That's interesting.
Yes,
And also, I was thinking that this is how we are supposed to do book distribution, but I don't know, because we always have this conception in our mind: will he buy? Will he not buy? Will he take? Will he not take? Like that. But Prabhupada actually showed while, for this temple, that he was approaching everyone, not speculating that whether that person will give or not, which is
right.
so difficult, Mataji, because I get so embarrassed and shy of thinking that will I talk to him? Will I talk to her? Will they listen? Like that. I don't know how
Yeah,
to do.
yeah. But by doing itself, you will learn, right? You just have to push yourself, and then that's where I haven't done book distribution, but I have heard book distribution stories from Sankirtan devotees. So it's that point of surrender, right? Like depending on Krishna, you just push yourself, and that's when you uh, actually Krishna reciprocates, right? And you see Krishna. When Krishna reciprocates, you see Krishna's hand there, and it's a very quick way to make progress in Krishna consciousness, because it's not easy. It's not easy. It's difficult. Going out and asking people, talking to people, it's a difficult job. And when it is difficult, then the results are also very big. So somehow or other, if you can keep doing that, surrendering to Krishna, right, then you'll make very good, rapid progress in your devotional life.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I'll end the session here. All of you have a wonderful weekend, wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. So we'll meet tonight. We'll be reading Chaitanya Bhagavat. Otherwise, tomorrow morning, we'll be reading Bhagavad for the Srimad Bhagavatam class. And we'll read something about Deepavali, little bit. And then we'll continue with our Srimad Bhagavatam reading. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji, yesterday in the office, I received a email from our district manager, actually, who wrote to everyone saying Happy Diwali, and then she mentioned the why it is Diwali, like they only know about Festival of Lights. Then, because we were reading of Lord Ramchandra and I heard before going to office, I just wrote a gist of that he comes back from the forest and that's how everyone celebrates. She said, oh, thank you for giving more information on that.
Haribol.
I was thinking, did I do right or not? Because in offenses, 10 offenses, it's given that don't say the to non-devotees, no.
No,
But
no, no, no. Non-devotees means if they are challenging and if they are trying to, they are not accepting what you're saying. They're arguing with it. They're saying, no, it's not like this. And you try to win the debate and you're saying, no, it is like this. and then they are arguing. In that case, you shouldn't tell. But if somebody doesn't know anything, and when you tell them, and even if they're just hearing, oh, really, so it's fine, it's good, it's good.
Yeah, I was thinking at least she will read Ramchandra, so
Yeah,
Bhakti will start.
this was great service actually that you did, on this occasion for that devotee and for the pleasure of the Lord. It's nice, it's very nice.
Thank you,
Some,
Mataji.
Mataji, some people at work, they really recognize and they say, oh, very nice, because they respect every person's religion or festivals, faith, or their spiritual background. But some people, you can make out that they are like, oh, okay, like, you can, that they're
I
disregarding.
don't want to do anything with religion. They don't want to talk about religion. Yeah.
Or they get confused that, oh my God, you say that you do this, you follow this, which is very nice, but how come other Indians, we don't hear? Sometimes I get stuck how to answer.
Yeah.
But some they really respect because they know that everything has a proper history and the background.
Yeah. So the key is to be humble. Humble doesn't mean, that you let them criticize or something. Not like that. But you don't go with an attitude like, I know everything, you don't know anything, right? That's what puts them off. But if you present it, like especially for a festival like this, giving them the what is this festival about, what is the history behind it, I think reasonable people will be willing to hear about,
Yes.
because yeah,
Yeah. They all, because they know at least that yes, there is a meaning behind it, and they don't
yeah,
disrespect.
yeah, yeah. And then, like Prabhupada says, little, like you put one coin every day, and one day it becomes $100, and then you get the business. Like that, this is little bit that they hear. It will actually start, right? It will start their bhakti sukriti, right? They are hearing. Yeah. So just like you give some prasadam to someone, that is also starting their bhakti sukriti. Like that, this one also, hearing something about the festival, about the pastime of the Lord. So it will start, and then when it accumulates, when it becomes big enough, then they will take to bhakti. They'll come in the association of some powerful devotee, and they'll be able to take to bhakti. So we are doing the job of, helping them do little bit here and there, like that.
Because some Americans, one of my colleague, she's a bit elder to me, she said, whenever I was telling, are you talking about Hare Krishna movement? She said. And then one of
Yes,
my daughter, even Prajna's and Nitya's classmates, sometimes, I know you people pray to Krishna, right? Like that they say. So some people do know. It all depends on what they hear and they're from the family. And then
even
they're,
they're just saying Krishna and Hare Krishna, their spiritual life has started just by uttering that.
yeah. And being kind when at work, though they don't know what we are and all, Mataji, our actions and then how we they observe that how kind we are and how really logical, and they think someone, at least out of few people, they acknowledge that yes, you should give respect to all this, where current generation, some people come like that mindset.
Yeah.
When Jayapataka Maharaj was in the hospital, he whoever used to come to, like the nurses, they used to come to check his pulse and everything. So he used to say, first he used to say, before you do anything, you tell me Hare Krishna.
Hare
So they used
Krishna.
to say Hare Krishna, and then okay, now you can check, like that. He forced them to take the name.
Maharaj is on a completely different platform. He is like a pure devotee giving mercy. So when a pure devotee gives mercy, he's actually empowering them by his power. by his power, he's giving mercy. He's not just giving association. He's giving association, but he's also giving mercy. Mercy means what? That means removing the obstacles which are stopping them from taking to bhakti. So who can do that? Someone who has that power in bhakti, he can do that. So that's amazing. Maharaj, you can feel, you can just feel when you hear he gave class today in the temple. It's just amazing. Every evening, Maharaj gives classes on YouTube, Chaitanya Charitamrita, pastimes. But today he gave Bhagavatam class in the temple. You know, devotees are not on the material platform. At that age, with all these health complications, how can anyone, have clarity of all these pastimes and, the verses and everything? Very clear, very, very clear, right? And, do you think he gets to, open book and prepare for the class and read and come or anything? It's all there. It's all there.
See,
Just amazing.
one time when we met him, Jayapataka Maharaj, he looks at the eye and he looks in the soul. I was feeling
Yes.
like I'll faint, like I couldn't look at his eyes for long because I was thinking, oh my God, he's seeing my soul inside. Oh my God,
Wow.
I still have good goosebumps thinking about that. Like I was telling in my mind, now I have selected Guru for myself. I was thinking in my mind, so probably he saw it, but he was reading me there. Oh my God.
Hare
It's very
Krishna. Thank you. Yeah. Thank
mercy.
you
Like
all.
even our Guru Maharaj, Vaisheshika Maharaj, I saw one video when he posted, when he was doing book distribution, he saw some person and the other person said, I don't have money. Then Maharaj said, you can give whatever you have. And then he gave, oh, I don't have anything. I have my cigarette
Lighter.
packet. Lighter. Yeah, you must have seen that video. It's so touching. And then the next day, Maharaj uses that to light the lamp, and he's like, it'll help him. That's okay. So how the way they think, oh my God, Krishna.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Maharaj.
thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.